Hello everyone, my name's Aloubell, and welcome to part 10 of Miraculous Bonds Beyond Fate, my Miraculous Ladybug AU with a different origin story and different other things too. If this story is your first exposure to Bonds Beyond Fate, then please check out the story from the beginning. Return for part 10 when you are ready. For everyone else, sit back, relax, hit that like button for the algorithm, subscribe for more reviews, rants, and rewrites, put the fox emoji in the comments, and enjoy Miraculous Bonds Beyond Fate Part 10. Meanwhile, Cat Noir was facing a villain with super speed. The villain was dashing so quickly and violently through the streets that glass shattered and civilians caught out in the open were tossed aside from the Air Force. Shops were being broken into as the villain came out with lightweight, coveted objects. Cat Noir struggled to catch her as he juggled between trying to whack her with his staff and protect civilians before they got seriously injured. By this point, he was breathing heavily and sweating. Just sit still already. Causing this much havoc will not get you what you want.
Au contraire, mon ami,
the villain said.
Being this fast is getting me exactly what I want. No one is ever gonna complain again that I'm too slow and that I'm useless. And now, who even needs them when I'm so fast that no one can stop me from getting everything? I can do anything, including getting your Miraculous.
The villain dropped what she was doing and rushed towards Cat, tackling him to the ground, pinning him down. Cat struggled, but he couldn't get the weight of the villain off of him.
Now, where is your Miraculous located?
The villain slyly asked. Without giving it another thought, Cat's hand became engulfed with a black, smokish energy as he touched the ground under him, disintegrating the concrete and creating a deep crater in which they both fell into. Before they could hit the ground below, Cat extended his staff and vaulted himself out of the hole and onto the roof of a nearby building. He sighed in exhaustion. This is the exact kind of villain I didn't need to deal with today. Where are you, Ladybug? Right here, kitty. Ladybug swooped in and landed right next to him. Sorry for making you wait so long. Cat smirked at her. It's okay. You can make it up to me later. Even though I was holding down the fort pretty darn well. But in all seriousness, what was it that you needed to do? Just then, Alia, in her superhero outfit, leapt onto the roof, standing beside them, stunning Cat Noir. What did we miss? She asked. Cat's eyes widened. He then pointed to her as he looked over at Ladybug. What? Surprise! Ladybug said with a nervous, high-pitched tone. I brought in the cavalry, even though it's only one person, but yay, right? Sorry, I'm still processing this, but we actually have another partner? Like, actually? Cat Noir asked, getting progressively more excited. Ladybug nodded. Wow, you were actually able to get Master Fu to speed up the process. I knew you were amazing, Cat Noir said with glee and admiration. Ladybug nervously chuckled and looked away as she said in such a low volume and through gritted teeth that it was difficult to hear, It's actually a bit more complicated than that. Cat Noir then turned to Alia as he gently held up her hand and kissed the back of it. Sorry we didn't get properly introduced. I'm Cat Noir. I'm a huge fan, she told him as she gave a smug smile. And I look forward to working with you. Releasing her hand, Cat Noir then asked, So what's your name? Well, I haven't thought of a hero name yet, but you and I are pretty well acquainted. I'm the one who took our sleepy friend to the nurse's office earlier today. After thinking it over in silence for the next few moments, Cat Noir then gasped, Oh! Ladybug and Alia slapped their hands over Cat's mouth. Shh! Don't say it out loud! Hawkmoth could be listening in, Ladybug told him. I know it's surprising, but you've got to keep your cool. We'll talk after the mission is done, okay? Alia suggested. Cat Noir nodded, and the two girls retracted their hands. So, what's the situation? Ladybug asked as the three of them looked down at the scene. A woman got mad at the world for calling her slow, so now she's super not slow, Cat explained. Super speed, huh? A bit cliche, but had to be done at some point, I suppose, Alia said. She then noticed the giant hole in the ground. From what I know about your powers, I'm guessing that's your handiwork? She gestured to the crater. It was either that or get my Miraculous stolen, Cat said. I'll fix it when we're done, Ladybug assured. Hey, it's really cool how you two balance each other out. He destroys things, Ladybug creates new things. It's such an efficient system, Alia said with an impressed tone. She then jokingly added, "Who am I to break up such a beautiful dynamic?" "We'll allow it, please help us," both Ladybug and Cat Noir said in tandem. Alia giggled. The three of them then looked down at the scene, finally spotting the zippy villain as she caused more havoc in trying to locate Cat. At this point, most of the civilians were hiding either in buildings or tucked away in whatever crevices they could find. "How can we stop someone that fast?" Ladybug asked. "She's so much faster than us that if we were out in the open, we're done for." "Yeah, it's lucky for me she was so distracted by all the shiny objects before deciding it was time to come after me," Cat added. "I'm really sorry for leaving you alone, Kitty. I was reckless." Ladybug's shoulders slumped. Alia shook her head. "No, it's my fault for stopping you, Ladybug, and getting all fangirly and interrogating Trix. I ended up wasting a lot of your time." Cat Noir placed his hand on Ladybug's shoulder while addressing them both. "It's all in the past. You're here now, and we all still have our Miraculouses. We can still win this." Alia and Ladybug nodded confidently to him. Ladybug then said, "Yeah, you're right. Still, this is tricky. We need to lay some sort of trap for her." "I know this is a bit soon, considering I just got here, but I think I have an idea," Alia said. Ladybug and Cat Noir's faces lit up. "Really?" "Yeah, we'll have to act quickly, though, as to not ruin the illusion." "What exactly are your powers, anyway?" Cat asked her. Alia simply grinned at him. The villain sprinted through the nearby city blocks, trying to locate her foe.
Come out, wherever you are,"
she taunted. Spotting a hidden civilian, she devilishly grinned.
"Guess I'll have to give you a little incentive."
But just as she began her dash, a tall brick wall materialized out of nowhere right in front of her. Seeing the threat, she instantly put on the brakes before she had a chance to slam right into it.
"Where the heck did this come from?"
As soon as she asked that, another wall appeared at both of her sides and behind her as well. She was tightly trapped.
How is this possible?"
She turned herself around, trying to find a way out.
"Let me out of here!"
she screeched. Just then, she felt something latch onto her ankles. The villain looked down and saw half of Ladybug's body laying on the ground, phasing through the wall. She was giving the villain a smug look after finishing putting handcuffs on her ankles. Before the villain had the time to properly react, Cat Noir jumped through the wall as if it were nothing, kicking the villain in the back, causing her to phase through the wall and fall to the ground with a thud. She could no longer get up and zip around.
"No! How could you even do that? It's not possible! I'm too fast for you!"
the villain cried out, attempting to stand up. Ladybug got up onto her feet. "That's true, but thanks to a bit of cleverness from a new friend, we were able to win the race." The walls then vanished into thin air as the new fox hero was revealed, holding up a flute in the playing position. She then lowered her weapon. "I figured you'd see through the ruse the moment you tried to touch the wall, so we really had to book it to get this to work. So in a sense, we were actually too fast for you. Don't mess with the heroes." She held up her fists and Cat Noir and Ladybug simultaneously gave her fist bumps.
"What the? A third one? There's a third one?"
the villain asked in disbelief. "Yep, isn't it awesome?" Cat Noir giddily praised. "Rena Rouge, at your service." She gave an eloquent bow. "Rena Rouge?" Ladybug asked. She nodded. "I've been thinking about it since the moment I transformed, and I finally came up with a name. Does it sound good?" Ladybug smiled and nodded at her. "It suits you." "Now then, ladies, if you don't mind, I already spotted the object with the Akuma in it during our little cat and mouse game." Cat Noir sauntered up to the villain and took the object in question. Using Cataclysm, he destroyed the object and the dark butterfly came floating out. Capturing it in his hand with no problem, Cat used his power to purify the creature and sent the white glowing butterfly flying off into oblivion. The villain's body was consumed by purple energy that soon dissipated, leaving a regular and confused-looking civilian. Was that a dream? Or did that actually happen?" she asked in a daze. In attempting to get up, she found that her ankles were being held together. "So it wasn't a dream after all." Ladybug knelt down to face her. "Sorry about that. I'll free you right now." Rena Rouge then gasped loudly. "Oh crud! Mom!" Cat Noir gave her a puzzled expression. "That's your mom?" "No, I just remembered that I told my mom I was going to get my homework from someone. I've been gone way too long. I need to head back." "Then you better get going. We've got this. Thanks for your help," Ladybug told her. Rena gave her comrades one final smile before leaping away. After a few moments, Ladybug freed the civilian, who then apologized profusely for the trouble. Ladybug and Cat Noir were then left before the messy city streets with some damaged shops. The most notable of the damage were broken windows and the gigantic crater created by Cat. "Well, it could be worse," Cat said. Ladybug stretched her arms upwards and then to her sides. "I can definitely fix the hole in some windows, but I'll be spent after that. I'd like to think the police can handle the rest. In the meantime, you make sure the people are all right." Cat Noir saluted her. "Aye, aye, m'lady." The two of them then got to work. After everything was said and done, Ladybug and Cat Noir were once again sitting on the edge of a tall rooftop looking over the city lights. For a while, they sat in silence, but there was a bit of unresolved tension in the air. "Hey, Ladybug?" "Yeah?" "How exactly did you get Rena's Miraculous?" Ladybug went silent, and she was unable to comfortably look over at her partner. "I didn't react when you said it, but I did hear you when you said it was complicated." Ladybug remained silent as her frown grew, a sickly feeling bubbling up in her stomach. "I promise I won't be mad," he told her. After thinking it over for a few seconds, Ladybug quietly said, "I have a feeling you already know, because it's actually really obvious." She paused, waiting for him to respond, but he courteously stayed quiet. Ladybug sighed. "I stole it." Cat Noir faced forward, hanging his head down a bit. He looked down at nothing in particular with a somber expression. "How?" he asked. "After the Akuma attack began, I went back to Master Fu's place. When I got there, I knocked, expecting an answer, but there wasn't one. So I took a chance and made a master key to open his door. I crept through the house, keeping an eye out for him, but I couldn't find him. What I did find was the miracle box. It was just sitting there. One thing led to another, and I ended up taking the Fox Miraculous. I actually had every intention to get 2 of them, but I felt so bad and I was so freaked out by what I was doing that I could only grab 1. I ran out of there as soon as possible. I have no idea if I even left any evidence or not, but considering how seriously he takes his job, Master Fu probably knows." "Did you go there specifically to steal one?" Cat Noir asked, also avoiding eye contact. Ladybug went silent again. Cat sighed. "You did." "It's not like I was going to force Master Fu to give it to me or anything," Ladybug excitedly said as she turned to face him. "I wasn't even going to fight him about it. To be honest, if he was there, I probably would have chickened out. It's just, I was so desperate and I'm so tired that I made a terrible judgment call." She buried her face in her hands. "That's such a lame excuse. I'm just the worst." "You are not the worst," Cat Noir impassionately assured as he turned to face her. "If you didn't do what you did, one or both of us might have been in serious trouble tonight." Ladybug lowered her hands but remained downtrodden. "I guess. To be honest, more than anything, I just want to know why you didn't tell me your plan from the start. I trust you. Don't you trust me?" Cat asked. "Of course I trust you. It was just such a last-minute thing that I didn't have time to explain it." Her and Cat's eyes finally met, and she could see the concern in his. She then sighed and looked away. "Well, that's partially true. I guess I was also scared about what you'd think about me. And I don't mean it in a, you won't have feelings for me anymore type of way, more of in a, you won't think I'm a good person anymore type of way. Okay, first of all, I do still have feelings for you, and second, it would take a lot, and I mean a lot, for me to not think of you as a good person," Cat told her. "Why would you think I'd think that?" "Because I'm basically a criminal," she cried out. "I stole something. Am I even worthy of being a superhero? I did exactly what Hawkmoth did to get his Miraculous, betraying someone who cared about him. I couldn't help but think that you'd see me as being the same as him, and I couldn't help but make you remember what he did and making you feel bad. It's such a messy situation that I just short-circuited." Ladybug then hung her head in shame as she caught her breath. Realizing how highly she thought of his opinion of her and how she was trying to take his feelings into account made Cat feel kind of good about himself, while also making him feel a tad guilty for making her feel like she had to put herself in this stressful situation. He placed a comforting hand on her shoulder and gave her a small, warm smile. You are nothing like Hawkmoth, okay? So no worries there. He's routinely putting people in danger, intentionally, and is literally trying to kill us. He has good intentions-ish, but with the way he's acting, he is, in every sense, a villain. You, on the other hand, are busting your butt to keep people safe, all while trying to stay alive. All you want to do is good, and anyone with at least half a brain cell can see that you're a good person. It's as simple as this. Hawkmoth is trying to hurt people, and you are trying to save people. You are 1000% a hero, and again, if you didn't do what you did, we'd be in trouble. So, buck up, Bugaboo, he smirked at her. Ladybug sniffed and gave him a sideways smile. I thought I told you that name was off limits. It's not if it gets you to smile. Ladybug blushed a bit and then shoved his shoulder with her hand in a playful manner. All right, I'll allow it that one time, but no more. They then sat in comfortable silence as they continued to watch the city lights. Thanks again, Kitty. Anytime, milady. Meanwhile, in a secret location, Gabriel Agreste sat in his recliner chair, leaning forward, pinching the nerve between his eyes as he pondered to himself. Nuru timidly and quietly floated nearby. So, that old fool actually did it. He distributed a new Miraculous. I'll admit, he actually surprised me with that. Despite his trauma, he's willing to create more heroes in order to stop me. This could potentially escalate and get out of hand. I must not underestimate the current situation. Gabriel sat up in his chair. Was it really an accident that teenage girl got the Ladybug Miraculous as he said? Or was he planning this all along? Yes, that's it. He must have somehow known that I would use the Miraculous to bring Emily back, and he's denying me that right because of his values. But why teenagers? How is it that the Black Cat Miraculous suddenly comes into play after years of being missing, and then shows up in the hands of yet another teenager? And now the Fox Miraculous holder is another teenager? There's no practical reason to give children such powerful artifacts, unless he knows something I don't. Why use teenagers? And where did they come from? He's not randomly picking them. Even if by some chance the Ladybug Miraculous did mistakenly end up with a teen, there's no way that the Black Cat and Fox also just so happen to end up with teenagers as well. No, they're coming from somewhere. And they can't be complete strangers, at least not to Fu, because it would be suspicious to anyone for an old man to approach random teens like that. And those three acted awfully familiar with each other. The benefit to using teenagers against me. He suddenly remembered the final night he was in his mansion. He recalled the confrontation with his son Adrien, whom he locked away in his room, and then Ladybug and Cat Noir appeared to take Gabriel's Miraculous, telling him that they had Adrien in a safe location. Gabriel stroked his chin. How did Ladybug and Cat Noir react so quickly to that confrontation? If I were a betting man, I'd say that they were individuals who are around Adrien regularly, probably guarding him from me. Considering they are children, they can't protect him all day. They must go to school. So the most likely place that they are coming from is... Are you all right, Gabriel? Natalie asked as she brought him a fresh hot cup of tea. You've been awfully quiet for the past couple of hours. I'm sorry your plan didn't work out. All things considered, it was a very good plan. We just didn't expect to see a new Miraculous user. If you couldn't have predicted that would happen, then who could have? She handed him the cup. Tomorrow is another day. For now, get some rest and don't let this weigh down on your mind. Turns out you were right, Natalie, Gabriel began to say. Natalie's eyes widened from the admittance. I shouldn't waste so much energy bombarding them with champions to fight day after day. We must be smarter about this if we want to see quick results. Yes, of course. Do you have something in particular in mind? She asked him. Gabriel grinned menacingly. I have a few ideas. The next day, visitors came to Master Fu's domain and sat around his table. Explain yourselves now, he demanded them. It was Ladybug and Cat Noir, but it wasn't just them. Rena Rouge sat with them, and next to her was a hooded figure. Please don't be mad at them, Master Fu. Be mad at me. It's all my fault, Ladybug admitted. Oh? And what exactly is your fault? The old man sternly asked her. Ladybug looked down at her fidgety hands before taking a deep breath and exhaling. She then pulled her head up and confidently spoke. I'm the one who snuck in here and took the Fox Miraculous without your consent. Cat Noir had no idea what my plan was. I did it on my own. Master Fu peered over at Rena Rouge, who, for some reason, also appeared a bit guilty.
So you did,
he said. Ladybug bowed to him in repentance as she cried out, I am so sorry for stealing from you. I was scared and tired and I didn't know what to do. I thought it was the only way. With all due respect, sir, if Ladybug hadn't stolen the Miraculous, ours would have been taken by Hawkmoth, Cat Noir told him. Rena Rouge here literally saved our butts. Rena flashed Cat a sassy smile before she spoke to Fu. And I know you don't know me, like, at all, and I had no idea about any of this until Ladybug gave me my Miraculous, but I can't help but feel a bit responsible in this as well. So, this may not mean much coming from a complete stranger, but I promise to give this hero duty my all. So I promise this Miraculous won't be wasted on me. You can believe her on that, sir, said the hooded figure who was revealed to be Nino in disguise. You won't find anyone more dedicated than Rena.
And who are you? You weren't given a Miraculous,
Master Fu accused. He's a friend of ours, Ladybug explained. In fact, he's one of my best friends. He, Rena, and I have been together since practically forever. It was tearing me up inside to not tell them something as important as this. Of course, I understand why it was a secret, but since Rena knows, it seemed only fair to tell our other friend. I mean, Cat, Rena, and I can't just keep this monumental secret from the friend we hang out with all the time, someone who was practically my brother. It just didn't seem right. Master Fu sighed.
And the recklessness continues. That is not a good justification for revealing yourselves.
All of the teens hung their heads and went silent.
Don't you understand how serious this is? All Hawkmoth needs to do is wait for one of you to get upset enough for him to akumatize you. The more people who know Ladybug and Cat Noir's identities, the higher chance he has in finding them and getting what he wants.
Ladybug tried to intervene. I know, but...
How long have they known your secret for?
Fu asked. Rena found out yesterday. You can't blame them for me finding out, Rena interrupted. I figured it out on my own. Ladybug and Cat Noir were being completely responsible.
And yet, Ladybug stole from me and made the call to give you the Miraculous without my consent.
Hearing that made Rena shrink down a bit in awkwardness. Yeah, well...
And if Ladybug and Cat Noir are as responsible as you say, then was it you who told the hooded one here?
Well... Rena began to speak, but Ladybug answered on her behalf. We all decided to tell him. Earlier today. Like I said, it didn't feel right to keep him in the dark.
With all due respect, sir, Nino added, they made sure that no one else was around. It was just the four of us in my room, and everything was said in a whisper.
Flashback to earlier in the day when Alia, Marinette, and Adrian came over to Nino's house to get some homework done. When they made sure the coast was clear, they told Nino to sit down and not freak out. Once he agreed, they revealed their kwamis, Tiki, Plag, and Tricks, to which Nino reacted strongly by letting out a loud, "Whoa!" and leaning back so far that he fell back onto the floor with a loud thud, to which the others frantically checked if he was okay, and he was, while the kwamis looked on in a mixture of confusion, concern, and ever so slight amusement. Back in the present, Nino said, "Honestly, I think the whole experience brought us closer together." Master Fu then turned his back to them, and after a few moments of silence, Ladybug spoke up. I wish there was a way for me to make this up to you. I wish you could understand how sorry I am for betraying your trust. I can't even make up for it by giving back my Miraculous. I don't know where we can go from here. Master Fu remained silent as the weight of the tension pushed down on the teens. I have no way of punishing you, Master Fu finally said, still not turning to face them. I have no authority over any of you. Then again, I could always call the police for theft. After all, I have proof that that necklace was mine. The idea of going to jail freaked Ladybug out as her eyes went wide with concern. Cat stepped in on her behalf. You can't do, but of course, that would only complicate things, Master Fu continued. It would make for a very messy situation. Besides, you're no criminal, Ladybug. Hearing that made the heroine gasp. What? Finally, the old man turned around to face them, a remorseful frown on his face.
What you did was dishonest and even illegal, of course, but one must not look at the situation in merely black and white. After all, I must accept some of the blame as well.
Ladybug and her friends looked up at Fu in surprise. He continued,
Both Hawkmoth and I backed you into a corner and put you and Cat Noir in a desperate situation. Neither of you kids chose this life, but were forced into a very scary situation. And for me to say that you have to simply deal with it was wrong on my part, and for that, I apologize.
He returned her bow with one of his own. Ladybug was left without words.
And if a fear of yours was that you'd turn out like Hawkmoth, fear not, child. The fact that you came to me to admit your wrongdoing and ask forgiveness shows a lot about your character. You are honest, sincere, and a hard worker, and so is Cat Noir. I may not have chosen you two to wield these Miraculous, but I don't necessarily think that you were the wrong choices. Only the future will be able to tell if that judgment call of mine is correct or not. But for now, I trust you.
Touched by his words, Ladybug smiled at him. Thank you, Master Fu, and sorry again.
Honestly, I'm really relieved that there's no bad blood between us, Cat said. Just to be clear though, I was 100% ready to fight you if you actually decided to call the cops on Ladybug.
Hey genius, maybe don't say something like that after getting off the hook, Rena scolded.
You were also 100% ready to throw down for the exact same reason, Nino told her.
Rena blushed after getting called out. Yeah, so? Ladybug's my girl. Besides, unlike Cat Noir, I didn't openly brag about it.
I don't know if I'd call that bragging, per se, Cat added.
I'm super impressed by how comfortable you all suddenly became, Ladybug chimed in with an apprehensive grin.
Master Fu chuckled. You sure are a lively bunch. But still, I would have rather the secret be kept from that one, he gestured to Nino. But what's done is done. I'll have no choice but to trust you, young man.
You won't be disappointed, sir, Nino affirmed.
We'll see about that. And what exactly should I call you? Fu asked him.
Well, I guess I can't use my real name, so call me
Shadow Master.
He said that last bit in a low-quality, intimidating tone. Master Fu simply blinked at him as he was completely dumbfounded. Ladybug face-palmed. I like it, Cat called out. Just call him Oliver, Rena said.
Why Oliver? Nino asked.
Because you're Mr. Olive Branch of Peace, that's why. Nino thought about it.
You know what? That checks out.
All right, call me Oliver,
the Shadow Master.
How about that last part be in parentheses, okay, babe? Rena suggested.
As long as it's there, I'm happy, Nino said.
Largely ignoring most of what just happened, Fu then turned to face Rena.
And you are certainly spirited. Rena Rouge, was it? I am Master Wong Fu, guardian of the Asian Miracle Box. I look forward to working with you.
Right back at ya, she gave him a wide grin. Master Fu cleared his throat as he addressed everyone.
Anyway, there is some important information I wanted to share with Ladybug and Cat Noir that I guess is pertinent to you all. I've received word from our allies in Japan. Apparently, they've already sent over a hero to assist in our cause. They arrived not too long ago.
Ladybug and Cat Noir's eyes lit up in amazement and disbelief. Really? Master Fu, they actually sent someone to us? As in, they're in Paris? Right now? Ladybug asked. The old man nodded.
That's what I've been told.
That's great news. Maybe Ladybug didn't have to steal that Miraculous after all, Cat shouted out excitedly. That actually only made Ladybug feel more guilty as she sank back in her chair, wallowing in self-pity.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel bad, m'lady,
Cat tried to explain. Slow your roll there, Catboy, Rena said. Even if that new Miraculous holder was here, they didn't exactly help out in that fight last night. If they were gonna help out, then that was the time to do it. Since Mystery Person was a no-show, then Ladybug still made the correct call. Feeling slightly better, Ladybug asked in a weakened tone, That's true. I wonder why they didn't do anything. I suppose it's possible they didn't know an attack was happening. Do you know who the Miraculous holder is? Or even what their Miraculous is? Fu shook his head.
I don't. While communicating with me over the phone, they wanted to conceal the person's identity. I suppose out of caution given the current situation. However, once I see the Miraculous in use, I'll know who it is.
Cat Noir frowned. So we're still technically on our own until they decide to reveal themselves? I guess that's exactly what that means, Rena confirmed.
Ugh, this is so frustrating, Cat groaned. He sighed.
Oh well. I do appreciate that you actually sent out an SOS for us, Master Fu. It feels good knowing without a doubt that we have more reinforcements on the way.
In the meantime, Master Fu, Ladybug began to ask, I was actually wondering if you'd be willing to give, Oliver a Miraculous, by any chance? But before Fu had a chance to respond, Nino cut in.
No, I don't need one. I am perfectly fine playing support on the sidelines for now. I could be your civilian liaison. I'll be undercover for the cause. Besides, I had enough excitement the other day after almost getting crushed by rubble. I'm good for now.
Aw, it would have been super fun to fight alongside you,
Rena pouted, but then she perked up.
Oh well, you'll still always be my hero, miraculous or no miraculous.
She smiled at him and he blushed, smiling back. Master Fu stroked his beard. Interesting.
What is? Ladybug asked.
He shook his head. Never you mind. Now, off you all go. I'm glad we had this time to talk, but I've got things I need to do. The teen stood up and headed towards the door. And remember, whenever you arrive, come in your hero form. Oliver, get a better disguise or a bigger hood. They all gave him various forms of compliance replies before heading on out the door. When he closed the door behind them, he sighed and just waited next to it to ensure that their presence was no longer felt.
You could always help them out in the field, Master, said a voice.
Fu turned around to face the source of the voice. It was a small green kwami with an antenna and a turtle shell on his back. You know I can't do that, Waze. Not after the mistake I made.
But that was so long ago, you can't hold yourself accountable for something outside of your control. Besides, these kids need you, and I know you feel bad for not being there for them more often.
I'll do my best to support and guide them when necessary, but I refuse to get involved in such a way that even more people will get hurt. No, all things considered, I think things are progressing just fine as is, Fu told him.
You know, almost every major good thing that's happened so far in relation to recent events was mainly because of luck and good timing, right?
Waze pointed out. Fu smiled to himself as he walked towards the window, revealing rain clouds gathering in the sky. Maybe a little luck is what we need right now. On the other side of town, Chloe walked along the sidewalk, slowly shuffling her feet as if she had no motivation to get anywhere. She wasn't even completely tuned into what was happening. She was too stuck in the fog clouding her brain. When arriving in front of an expensive clothing shop, she stopped in her tracks once something caught her eye. It was a large poster of a girl who looked very similar to Chloe, only slightly leaner and a few years older. The model was smiling happily and beautifully in her fashionable outfit as the sunlight kissed her skin. Below the designer name was the name of the model, Zoe Lee. Keeping an apathetic expression, Chloe slowly reached for her phone and unlocked the screen. She went into her text messages that were sent from Zoe Lee. In the text thread, there was a picture of the model and Chloe's mother hugging each other and grinning at the camera. The attached text read, "Wish you were here, little sis." The model was wearing the exact same outfit as in the fashion poster. As Chloe held the phone, she tightened her grip on it more and more to the point of feeling pain, to the point that her hand shook. It was then that it started to rain rather heavily. Most people in the background were running for cover, but being soaked didn't faze Chloe at all. She just continued to see as she looked at the image on her phone. And then all of a sudden, the rain stopped pouring. No wait, that couldn't be right. She could still hear the rain and see it in her periphery. Then why wasn't it falling on her anymore? Chloe then noticed a shadow over her. It was an umbrella. She turned around and realized that that boy from before, Luca, was holding the umbrella over her head to shield her from the rain. He was giving her a warm, kind smile. But for now, that's all there is. There isn't any more.